Mark Duda, the head football coach for Lackawanna College, here on the John Mendola Show, and our Carol and Janelle in Old Fortune Pizza, capital of the world. And, Mark, what a formidable foe ASA Brooklyn was this past weekend. Those guys got up on you. Somehow you guys had resolve. You kept fighting, scratching, went right down to the wire. You guys found a way to get it done.
Yeah, it took 60 minutes, John. You know, they were a great offensive and defensive football team. Super amount of players, Division I players, but we got down by 16 points and came all the way back to beat them 30 to 24 in the ball game. And what won it for us was our special teams. Today you're going to see three people: our punter, our kicker, and our long snapper I brought today. We pinned them back behind their 20, all fair catches on punts and on kickoffs, and didn't miss an extra point nor a field goal. That's why we won the ball game. So we lost as far as yardage offensive and defensively and won on special teams, and that propelled us to the win.
Talk about staying after it and keeping these guys up. I mean, they were fired up in the beginning, and even though they're down a little bit, but you know, little things on the sideline. You got your offensive and defensive coordinators up top. You got your other coaches on the field with you positionally, you know, talking about what they're doing, but you're kind of the guy down there, and you have a contingency to say, hey, yeah, we got to find a way to do it.
Yeah, you know, I think it's never quitting never quitting in a football game and understanding that things go your way. Look, we threw a pick in the first quarter for a touchdown. They threw a pick in the fourth quarter for a touchdown. Okay, so the game was evenly spent all the way through. You just have to keep on going. And I'll tell you what the difference is, I think, is at Lackawanna, they live in the same dorm, they eat the same meals, they go to class together, and a lot of our kids are homegrown kids. By that I mean that we get them as true freshmen, and we have them for 2 years, where some other teams maybe been bounce backs from other schools. So the closeness, I think, won the ball game. And that sounds cliche, but if you watch the game, you'd see us. They had 92 plays against us on offense, 92, and scored 16 points, 92 plays.
Athletes all over the field. It was a great matchup in that regard. You have a lot of respect for that program and the job that they do and the caliber of athletes they have, but we could go right over on the Falcons sideline and say the same thing.
Absolutely. ASA's got tremendous football coaches, great organization, Division I athletes all the way around. Coach Franklin was there, watching the game. The coach from Houston was there watching the game. And there's a reason everybody comes to watch those games, because they have people who can help them win. So that was truly what junior college is. It's Division I football players in waiting, and you saw probably 60 Division I football players between those two teams.
The goal line stand, let's talk a little bit about what that was like. I mean, you know, could go in, but it didn't. You guys found a way defensively.
You know, it was interesting. We came down and scored with 2:44 left in the game, and Isaiah kicked it off and kicked it in the end zone, so they had to go for the 25, which is really important. They made some great plays. We had a little bit of offensive pass, defensive pass interference. They're on a 6-yard line, 4 shots from the 6. And we stopped basically the best offense around 4 times from the 6-yard line. Last play of the game, the quarterback takes it. He's a yard short and we'll win the ball game. But the key to it is everybody does their job, right? The defensive tackle does his job. The backer does his job. They all do their job. And they all believe in each other to win the game, because it's easy to kind of go south at that time, because you think, oh, it's over now. They're going to score. They've been getting 5 yards of crack all day. They can't get 5 yards in 4 cracks.
Coach, you talk about how much time you put into special teams. And again, we talked a lot this year. You know, practices have moved around. You guys have gone kind of like a 9 to 11 at night at Scranton Memorial. It's been a lot of positives, though, in the way these guys respond. But talk about the amount of time into those special teams, and I'm sure you look back and say it's been well worth it when it comes to a game like this past weekend.
We stressed it this week unbelievably well, and Mahoney, the kid you're going to meet here tonight, this is an unbelievable story, and I'll tell it once, and people won't even believe it. On Wednesday, we've had hard time with our long snappers. One got a concussion, one was hurt, and we weren't really sure that Mahoney ever long snapped before, but he did in high school. And he came and he was doing our look team, our look long snapping. The ball was going back 100 miles an hour, to the point where instead of redshirt, and we brought him off the redshirt list, the first game he's ever played in college was against ASA. His snaps were right on the money, helped us win the ball game. So that's a truly interesting story.
Well, with all that being said, you got the win in the back pocket now. You can look forward. Let's talk about this weekend's opponent.
Once again, a really good opponent. Monroe's a good football team, undefeated as well. We're 6-0, they're 5-0. Beat them last year. I think we've been here before that too, but it's always been a tight game. They got a great offensive and defensive football team. They come to us for homecoming. Just a fever pitch. I'm sure everybody will be pretty motivated.
You talk about guys responded health-wise. How'd you guys make out over the weekend against, it was a physical game against ASA?
Yeah, we came out really well. We didn't get anybody hurt to the point where they can't play this week. I think that was wonderful. I think we're a little, banged up here and there, but we're not at the point where we're going to lose a guy for a game. The game was physical and the game was clean. It was one of those games where very few penalty yards on both sides. It's really a cool game to be around.
It'll be interesting this weekend. Homecoming for Lackawanna College and the Falcons hosting Monroe. Battle of unbeaten once again, Coach. Let's go get them this weekend.
Thank you, John.
Bradley King joins us here on the John Mendola Show from Lackawanna College. Bradley, let's talk a little bit about being a punter, what that's like, and what your experience has been like at Lackawanna College.
Well, it's different at college and high school, because in high school you play another position. When I went to college, I'm strictly a punter. So having all that free time in practice to work on your craft, it makes a huge difference between high school to college, and I've seen so much growth since I've been here.
Let's talk about the high school days, where you're from and what your experience was like in high school.
I'm from Geneva, Illinois. I used to play soccer. I transferred to football. I actually didn't punt in high school. I only did kickoff and field goal. And I came here and I started punting, and I got a really good hold of it. Sorry.
So let's talk about coming from Illinois to Lackawanna College. How did that all develop for you?
Well, I wasn't able to go to Division I because of my grades out of high school, of course. So I started looking up top junior colleges, emailing all of them, and Coach Bear got to me right away. And I started emailing back. I came on my visit, came to the spring game, and I love the atmosphere. I love how hard they push their teammates and everybody around here to succeed, and I decided to commit.
It's a long way from home and a big decision.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some days when you're first starting to second guessing yourself, saying, did I make this right choice? What's this like? But you got guys from all over the country here at Lackawanna College playing football. Talk about the brotherhood, fitting in and feeling like, okay, this is the right thing.
Yeah, after start of camp, we live with everybody. We go to classes with everybody. We eat with everybody. It's like my second family. You're around them so much. They're literally my brothers. I love them and do anything for them.
Yeah, I got a brother who's 23, so tell us about what he's up to and where he's at.
My brother Corey, he's a game designer. He goes to Columbia College. He's on his last semester, and trying to find a job.
That sounds pretty cool. You hear about these majors, and then you finally hear one that kind of goes through, so we're rooting for him. A 3.8 grade point average, so you got that part down pat. Let's talk about the next step for you. You want to be an entrepreneur, and you have an idea on what you may want to do?
Not really. I know I want to work for myself, be my own boss. So.
How about the next step for you? What's next for you after Lackawanna College? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
I want to go Big Ten, but I'd go any school that offers me a scholarship. Open. I want to go somewhere I wanted and needed, not where I just want to go. I want them to need me there too.
Let's talk about the selling points from you. What's a team going to get when they get you, and what could you do with the football when you punt?
They're going to get a consistent player that can punt the ball on the money every time, and also a very good kickoff and field goal specialist too.
Talk about the group that you guys have here, the specialists at Lackawanna College, the guys that surround you. What are they like, and what's that relationship with those guys?
Yeah, Tommy and Zay, they're both good guys. I just got to know Tommy, and Zay was here last year with me. We spend all practice together, all 2-3 hours every day. So I got to know him very well. He's a tremendous guy, and we love competing with each other. We love pushing each other. Yeah.
How about Coach Duda? What do you make out of him?
He's a hard ball, but when you do what you're supposed to do, he shows love. Same with Coach Bear and Coach Bardini. All of them show love, and expect more out of them.
You guys are well deserving. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Bradley, great to meet you. We wish you the best of luck going forward. Isaiah Howard joining us here on the John Mendola Show. We continue the conversation, talking a lot of special teams because it was a big victory over ASA Brooklyn this past weekend. And Isaiah, you're a kicker on the team. Let's talk a little bit about what your experience has been like at Lackawanna College.
Well, Lackawanna, it's been pretty good. It's definitely a fast-paced game. Playing with a new team and coaches, you know, just fitting into how they want to play in the system.
Let's talk about how you found Lackawanna College, where you're from, and how'd you say, okay, I want to become a Falcon?
Right. I went to high school in Newport News, Virginia. I went to Mitchell High School with the former punter, Michael Catlett. He pretty much put me on to Lackawanna and what JUCO was. I didn't really have a good idea of what I was going into, but coming here and getting a year out the way and coming back my sophomore season, you know, I pretty much figured out what JUCO is about and, you know, what it takes to be here.
We're asking one of your teammates who's from Illinois about, you know, fitting in, being away from home, that whole experience. Talk about for you what it's been like to meet these guys from all over the place.
Yeah, at first, you know, I was very homesick. I didn't really enjoy it, you know, being here and being away from, you know, my hometown. But, you know, getting out of that city, you kind of see how bigger the world is and what more things you can explore. It definitely helped me grow as a person. These guys, definitely my brothers. Definitely going to remember and keep a lot of these guys around. So,
honing your craft, your teammates spoke about that, or just kind of concentrating. It's punting, it's kicking, it's extra, whatever it is. Talk a little bit about being able to put all your time into that.
Well, you know, it's definitely anxious. You know, it's being a kicker is based on personal performance, so everything I do has to be consistent. You know, the same kick, same timing every time. So consistency, honestly, is really the big key.
You got a big family, a bunch of siblings, so tell us about who they are and what they're up to.
All right, my brother Abdul, he's the oldest. He's in Newport News right now. You know, he's a firefighter. My brother Ishmael, he's a firefighter too. And my third oldest brother, JJ, he's in the military, so he's in the Navy SEALs. So that's about it. My brother JJ actually went to the same high school as me. He played soccer too, so.
That's pretty cool. Sounds like they have some interesting careers. And for you, what's that next step for you? What do you think you're going to do down the road?
Down the road, hopefully, you know, I plan on furthering my education through my athletics. You know, hopefully I can find a new home, you know, and just keep kicking the ball and see where that gets me.
As far as that next step for you, you have a list, or is it, hey, whoever's interested in me, I'm going to try to make it home and make it work?
You know, as being a JUCO athlete, we all like to go D1. You know, I'd like to go D1, but at this point in time, I don't really have a list, but whatever happens, you know, happens. I'm just open to all opportunities. Let's
talk about a role model, Marquette Kingway, and look up to that person.
Well, since high school, you know, when I started kicking the football, I didn't really, know how important it was. And seeing Marquette King, you know, his videos on kicking the football and like what he can do with the ball is just so interesting. I just, you know, one day want to be able to hit a ball like him. So.
How about the people rooting for you? Who are some of your biggest fans other than your brothers?
Other than my brothers, probably my mom, my dad are my biggest fans. You know, they just want me to do the right thing and stay in school and keep my grades right. So definitely my mom and dad.
All right, Isaiah. Well, it's great to hear your personal story. Wish you continued success at Lackawanna College and whatever that next step's going to be for you.
Hey.
Tommy Mahoney joining us here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire Service at our Carroll and Janelle Pizza Capital Old Forge. Tommy, let's talk about your experience so far as a freshman. Kind of thrown in the mix. Hey, we need you. You're going to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Talk about what you were able to do this past weekend for your Falcons.
So it started on Wednesday where I was just on the look team and I was just snapping the ball. And the punter, Bradley, said, like, Coach, look at him. He's doing a good job. So I just kept going. And Coach Duda came over, took a look, and said, hey, we're gonna activate you and you're gonna play on Saturday.
You got a little hesitant, thinking, I'm not sure.
Yeah, my first snap on Saturday, I was really hesitant, and I just followed through with everything I was taught at camps and everything, and I ended up doing pretty good.
You've got a pretty famous cousin who is one of the biggest Falcons ever, Mark Lewinsky. Talk a little bit about what he told you about Lackawanna College.
Yeah, so Mark, I didn't really get to see him a lot because he lives in Wilkes-Barre, and you know, he told me about Lackawanna, and that's one of the main reasons I came here is because he was here. So yeah, he was a big influence on why I came to Lackawanna.
Wrestling or rugby, two interesting sports that you're involved with. That means you're tough. Football, wrestling, and rugby, you got all the bases covered. So talk a little bit about just being able to, you want to just get after it as much as you could.
Yeah, so wrestling, my first year wrestling I joined because I wanted to stay in shape for football. Thought it would be a great idea. And I actually ended up doing pretty good at it. And I went to states, so I was district champion, league champion, and qualified for states in Pennsylvania, and didn't do too well at states. Went 2-2. I didn't place. Rugby. Rugby was mostly because I liked it. I liked hitting stuff like that, and I didn't play my senior year of high school because I didn't want to get hurt for football, and I was already looking at Lackawanna and stuff like that.
Nick is your brother. He's 15 years old, so talk about your relationship with him.
Nick's a 15-year-old kid. He's a freshman in high school. He's on the other side of the ball, defense. He loves playing nose guard. So, yeah, he's a little rascal. He's a big kid, 230 pounds as a freshman. And, you know, he's my mini-me.
Nice-sized kid for a freshman. Let's talk about your dad as a role model. Why does he inspire you?
My dad's done everything good to make my life happy. He works 3 jobs. He taught me football from base up. He had me in a 3-point stance before I could walk, and just does everything he can and helps me out with football and sports and everything he can possible.
Let's talk about your relationships and growing up. You know, you're a freshman in Scranton, Pennsylvania. You're a young guy. You got to learn a lot about yourself. And is this all worth it? And should I be here? All those questions that we all asked when we were a freshman. How did everybody kind of take you in there in Falcon country?
You know, it's definitely worth being here. You know, I have made so many great friends here. Some people I'll never forget, no matter what happens. It's a great place to be. Great atmosphere playing football here under a great coach, who has more experience than Coach Duda, and it's an absolute great place to be.
Well, Tommy, continued success. Congratulations on a big weekend for you and the Falcons. We wish you the best going forward.
Thank you.